Rebecca, I have a request.
Yeah.
Please don't refer to the water at Smith Park by those campsites sewage anymore.
Did I do that? I didn't do that, did I? No, I don't mean to say that.
Did you read the email from our most special
Yeah.
Hector?
No, what did it say? I didn't see it.
Inadvertently, you might
Don't
have
bother.
said, you didn't say
Just
sewage, you
before.
said
I forwarded it to
something
everybody.
Don't bother.
or something like that.
Yeah, because I mean,
It's just
yeah,
something
it's a
typical
water
and
issue or
obnoxious.
something.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I think of it as. I don't think of it as.
Well, you said that
Okay.
last board meeting.
You did, yeah.
Yeah.
Because Mike was like,
Dumb it. Yeah, I don't know on live, so you can't go. We're not on yet, right?
correct.
We're all talking.
When somebody goes back by that door, they make sure we close it for the meeting, because if the furnace kicks on, it's gonna be loud. Thank you,
Liz
ma'am.
says you can shut the furnace off.
Shut it right off. I'm about to take some more clothes off. So
I'm so sorry, are you going through hot flashes?
no, I am not.
was.
I'm just warm right now.
Jason,
Justin,
how we doing today?
busy but good.
That's excellent.
How is everyone here? Angry.
Do we have to dig a
I'm
new
thrilled to
hole?
see you, Jason.
Do we have to dig a new hole for our tree? Do you know?
We gotta dig into the hole, but it's enough for a tree.
We are being recorded at this point in time.
Okay, because I talked to
No,
Jason
cinder blocks
about
in the
where I
lake.
want to dig a hole. So just tell me if we have to, we will.
Yeah,
You can just
yeah,
put
I
that
talked
tree
to
out in the lake. Put cinder block, hold it down.
Daryl came down
You and Jason are late.
this morning and we looked at it.
We are now going live on Facebook. FYI.
Right?
What did you think about the sustainability thing? You might.
It's not recording, but we're going live. Thank you.
Those who
You
need
did
on
look
board.
at it a second time.
Yes, yeah, he recommended not to.
Go on down.
Okay,
All right,
Not the
so it's
best
not
news,
there.
but
but the
I'm
little,
sorry.
but the little white oak tree.
Not
is okay.
supervisor,
At this point, it's not in the
one of
way.
your departments for the supervisor.
It's high enough.
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
We had one of the holes for the new trees is
When you look
Failed
down this
in the-
page,
in the
you'll
corner
see
of
some of
what
the,
will
all
be
of
the new-
these, if so it could go.
water.
Okay, too close to
Too
this.
close,
So I would see.
Yeah,
there's
yeah, you don't wanna-
one-
you don't wanna cause
We should have a
anything.
tree there,
Great,
But I thought it was
thank
like
you.
over in
Okay.
top corner,
That-
it might
that's-
be okay.
That's like your ultimate revenge on future board members.
I didn't look it up and make sure.
That's a street now in
Right
20
page.
years.
I
have
didn't know.
It's like the ultimate revenge on new future board members. All right, since we are all here, let's get this show underway. Are we ready for me to bang on the gavel?
Recording in progress.
I'd like to call to order our last
Oh,
budget workshop of 2025. And would you please rise to say the Pledge of Allegiance with me? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Right. In front of you, you will find a newly updated budget, and I hope you all will recognize that the pages are numbered.
Well done.
We can get our name on the
And
top.
thank you.
Yes, I even put your name on the top of your budget.
I have made all the updates that have been requested. In areas where we have changed things, I have reviewed with the department heads. And unfortunately, that brings us to breaking the tax cap by $17,904 at this point in time. I got a couple things to share. You cut a lot, and if you look at the budget, a lot of those lines are negative. However, they're canceled out by the fact that our legal fees the budget has jumped from $5,000 to $45,000 this year in the A fund. We are assuming annual debt payments for the next 5 years of $52,680 for the property that we're in the process of purchasing. We are also leasing to own a piece of highway equipment that's adding $65,308 to the VA fund. Our health insurance is up by 18,000 or 18%, excuse me, this year. And if you take a look at the fund balance budget summary with fund balances, even though we are uncomfortably increasing our fund balance, we're also only seeing a 0.1% increase in our expected revenue. So we have some pretty big numbers to crunch. And the last expense that I built into the budget to increase is our building reserve. And I budgeted an increase of $25,000. And I had a suggestion that could sort of cancel that out for at least 1 year. And we have a projected fund balance for the A fund where the balance where this would be of close to $1.3 million by the end of this year. So my suggestion is instead of taxing for it, we simply move it from fund balance into the building reserve.
Remember, we don't go over the tax cap, or not the tax of the 2% budget.
We keep it under the tax cap if we were to do that. And I'm not saying that's the answer forever
No,
or not, but it would keep us this year in a way, and we have talked multiple times about moving money from fund balance to the building reserve.
But that much, you mean?
Not the entire,
25K.
only 20, we could even do like 20
25K
increase instead
from
of,
that fund to the,
yes.
Instead of taxing.
Oh.
Instead of taxing for it, we take it out of the fund balance.
I
Because then
see.
our residents have already paid for it, and then it's secured in the
Building reserve.
building reserve, and it can't be spent on anything else.
Mhm.
And that keeps us,
Within the tax. cap.
yeah. Or the other solution is maybe not the full 25, but we do 20 and we still increase the building reserve by 5,000 because we're gonna want to keep creeping that up because when we get to the point that we're building a new highway garage, every penny we have set aside already is gonna help.
I like the second idea, 20 and 5.
Well, before we make that final decision, we should do a final perusal of the budget. Make sure I reviewed it again after I came across that uncomfortable fact. Basically really went and looked at any place where there's a big increase. And unfortunately, there aren't a lot of and the thing that's really kind of disappointing that you'll see is there are a lot of really big decreases, but they're offset by some large increases. And I just gave you I think what are the top 5 increases in the entire budget. Unfortunately, the DB budget, we're seeing that's the highway part down. That's where the real road maintenance lines, and then
Which page are you starting on? This.
yeah, give them the page number on the top of the page.
Now that we have a page number.
Yeah,
let's go to 12.
Somebody got part of that.
12.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for the numbering. Clear.
Yes.
I supervised, he did it.
And I gave you the wrong page number, actually.
That's,
Yeah,
like I said, that's B.
yeah.
That's good.
Fun,
You
you gotta
said
get-
you, not SB.
Let's try DB page 1, page 22.
Okay.
You see how easy it is since there were page numbers?
Yeah.
Great.
On this, there's some big increases, which we could shave into, but I don't think that's going to help the town as a whole. Labor, that's offset on the DA side, so that doesn't really impact this. The contractual regular maintenance, it's maintenance on the roads, it's the stone, it's the oil, it's gravel, a lot of gravel in there. Do we want to change that? I personally don't think that's wise for us.
I don't
How is that not the chips
That's what we pay, not the CHIPS money.
yeah,
Oh.
that's the town money,
Share.
not the CHIPS money.
Okay.
The dust oil, we basically spent. When the last bill comes in, we're gonna be at about 110,000 for dust oil next year. I increased the road ceiling by $20,000 because that's oil and stone. That's them doing hard surface on our roads. We did bring down both the fuel lines because after 9.5 months of the year, we almost have $90,000 left in the fuel line. So I did reduce both of those, and I think we'll still have a surplus in that line.
The only we get on the dust oil, we could make the dust oil flat because we have paid more roads and there's less area to do, but I don't know
Right.
what the price.
I don't know what roads didn't get stone and oil this year for a seal coat that's.
Well, I meant the dust oil, not this.
We
Oh,
can
the
make
dust
that
oil,
flat.
yeah.
The issue was, this year we did, we could do that.
Cause you have the road ceiling is not the same as the dust oil line. You bump the dust oil line up 5.
There's I think, let me double check. I believe there's one that came in September that brought it just about even.
That should be the last.
There was something that came up that caused me to increase it, and with my understanding is we were basically had spent the whole 110, so I was gonna build a buffer in there. But if we haven't done that, I would be open to reducing that by 5K. I'm looking at the end of September.
Will there be roads we won't dust oil?
For the ones we paved this,
Yeah,
the ones we paved this year will not need dust oil in next year.
yeah.
But I don't.
And is it a significant amount that we did or?
They did some, I mean,
We added some more miles, but I don't know how many without asking
I
Scott.
don't remember how many.
Which might help.
Okay,
with
so at the end of October, we had expended $108,168.78 in dust oil.
Yeah,
But
we
this time on, they're not doing it anymore.
They-
That
should be
that
anymore.
should be the end of it.
So you're probably safe to take that 5 out of it.
If we want to do that, I'd be open to that. Reduce it by 5,000.
Mhm.
I know Scott did get extra because he couldn't get it and he couldn't get it. And then somehow they ended up with an extra truck and they went back and did some stuff
Yep.
that normally they didn't do because they had to use it up, but.
I'm sorry, you decided to leave that flat at 110?
Yep.
That's gonna help charge that.
That's not here to complain, so.
What that'll do is after we reallocated and we had to reallocate the PERMA and the retirement funding, that had dropped our use of fund balance in the EV funds by a couple thousand. This will pull it down another 5,000, which does make me a bit more comfortable. That will drop the use of fund balance by down to $93,912. 5 cents, don't forget the 5 cents. We brought the changes that we did as a group at the
Page 28.
water. Brought us in very, very close to the last couple of years. Less than 1% increase on the water fund.
Page 31.
And brought the use of fund balance within a few $100s of last year. So I think that was a nice save. We'll see where
Why are we using so much fund balance in the water though?
water.
I'm just saying that's like a pretty big
We
chunk.
always use significant amount of fund balance in water because the water it's basically giving back what people are paying in water rates.
Mhm.
We bumped up water rates. Part of like what he said is we tighten up the water system so we're not losing as much water.
Mhm.
We have more people paying in. We don't necessarily want to drop water rates. That it's dangerous because the water rates are what pays for the maintenance of the system.
But that's preventing us from having to raise it anymore because
Yes.
there's
Right.
people
Yes.
have been paid.
There's a
costs.
fund in there, that you just give back some of the money to the whole thing.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
No, it does. I just, you just
Yeah.
worry that then suddenly that won't be there.
Well,
And
the fund
then-
is like, if you look at, we're not giving back the full amount. We do have a reserve fund. There's fund towns there, like we could go
Which relates just to water.
water,
Okay.
just water, only water stays in water. Projected fund balance is about 100. Oh no, excuse me. Projected year-end fund balance for water is about $500,000. That's been living.
But 10 or 12 years ago, there was hardly any fund balance in water.
Yeah, 10 or 12 years ago, we were having problems paying the water bills at the end of the year because we were short.
Mhm.
We,
We changed the rates and, or people started using more water and then they get charged. But somehow we collected more.
But also we got captured some of that leak.
yeah, yeah,
Catching leaks has really helped.
yeah, because we're producing less. That's my comments on.
I am okay with taking out the 25,000 to the building reserve and moving the end of the year, moving it from the fund balance into the building reserve.
But we just saved $5,000, right?
Yep.
But that's technically we didn't say, he didn't reduce taxes $5,000 because he took it
Yeah,
out of the
we're
fund balance.
reducing
Fund balance.
fund balance.
Okay.
So the
Use
tax rate
in-
stays the same.
Tax rate will stay the same.
The move for the 25K, that keeps us from going on the tax.
Yeah.
Yeah, but because you're gonna be really close to the tax cap, you still have to pass that local law to exceed the tax cap to cover your bond in case the state calculates things differently.
We do that no matter what. Even if we were like $100,000 away from the tax cap, we would still pass that local law to cover our backsides.
Yeah, but you don't.
What the pretty aggressive lower number of chips, is that just New York State's? That we're expecting a lot lower revenue from them.
We-
A lot lower.
Yes,
So
because chips
the
actually,
pothole thing.
yeah, POPs is this pave our potholes. There was a 5-year plan that the state introduced a few years ago.
It's done.
It's done.
Got it.
So basically what we did is subtracted that out, and there's another program called Severe Winter. That's an annual one that we don't budget for. So, we spent a lot more money than that this year on chips, but we had to finish up our POPs money, and that's gone. And so what we budgeted was the baseline chips in Cave, New York. With the two programs that are in theory moving forward, and we should at least have a flat funding for, that's what we use. Scott and I checked and double checked, because the last thing we want to do is budget for revenue for a program that doesn't exist on these.
And believe it or not, with most of our roads, it's the freeze and thaw of winter that does the most damage to our roads. Than if we just had straight cold, frozen.
Yeah.
So when they say severe winter, it's those ups and downs, the freezes and thaws, and when the frost leaves the ground and then comes back in, and
It would actually be better for the road if it
That's
got cold and stayed cold.
yeah, that's
So
what keeps
not
the
our
road.
future.
No, it's not.
And so no more pops money goes into the tunnel. And the tunnel.
The tunnel, okay, so I did get an update, speaking of that. They are planning to pave next Thursday and Friday in Boyce, Rose Lane, and the tunnel.
They're doing that a lot too.
Yeah.
Cool.
If we have made it clear to them in no uncertain terms that if they are delayed, if there's a rain, anything, we will delay and rebid Beloit next year. That being said, we've also tried to make it very clear to them that independent of anything, We want hey,
Tunnel's got to be done.
so
You said next.
Thursday, Friday,
Thursday.
29th and 30th.
It's not that far.
No, 30th and 31st.
Yes, 30th and 31st. That's
Yeah. Supposed to be raining in the fifties. That's interesting. That's extended though. Can be good change. Okay,
so that's
What was the number that is too cold for them to pave?
I don't know.
There isn't a magic.
It's not mattering, but it gets, the colder it gets, the harder it is to have a good paved job, basically.
Well, I got the sense it was the length of time for it to settle before the freeze thaw.
That too, but it cools up, the pavement cools off, the time it leaves, it has to stay so warm. And then you put it down in the cold ground and the cold air and by the time you get it rolled in, it doesn't roll as tight. Cause it cools quicker.
On
Can
page,
you roll it? Yes.
on pages 8 and 9. I want to bring this to everybody's attention. Last year, we budgeted 75,000 for the building reserve. However, we put it in the wrong place. On page 9, you can see in 2025, there's this reserves A1001R. We put $75,000 in there to bring their total tax to 755. In reality, it should have been on this line A 962.4 that you can see on the bottom of page 8. There's no we transferred that money into the building reserve fund, but that's why.
How come it's not in the modified budget 2025? I mean, if we transferred it, it should be on that line, yeah.
Should be. I'll have to ask that. It was transferred because you can see it was expended in the expenditures revenues through 8/31.
Right, so soon.
It should be showing up on that line. So I'll have to ask Kathy about that.
Was that change done after 8/31?
No, it was done quite early in season when Kathy came to me and said, "What the heck is this?" And I said, "Oh, that's the building reserve." She said, "No, it's not."
The A101R.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So we went back looking because we used to be taxing for this on a regular basis, and then it went away for a couple of years. So I had to go back several years to find the line, and then I confirmed it with our accountants that are on retainer, and I said, "Yeah, that's where you should be putting it."
So now we should have a measly
Yeah, so why didn't it
$175,000
go-
in our.
Why
building.
isn't
No.
it showing up there?
I mean,
We have more than our building.
Yeah, we have like $500,000 in building reserve.
oh, interesting, okay.
Cause we used to put in building reserves.
And it didn't get spent.
That's
And then we never spent it.
0962.4.
We kept saying we're gonna
That's a weird.
build a new highway garage and
That's
never
the
did.
reserve number. The
There's
reserve
buildings in it.
Mhm.
number.
Maybe we're actually gonna do it now.
Maybe.
Let me see. It should show on here.
It's so glad you keep pushing it. I don't know.
DA. Building reserve, we have $547,190.47 as of September 30th.
Right. The Smith Park revenues, are we sure that's gonna have 225,000?
We dropped that from 250,000 because Jessica and I were revaluing this year. We were at 218 at this point in time,
Yeah,
so we're doing for 225.
What did you say we have in the building reserve? 525,000?
547.
547,190. If you look at the supervisor's report, it shows up on that number, the first page.
Mm-hmm.
And thanks to interest, that actually increased by a little over $2,000.
Well, okay, so why did you mention Smith Park? We're talking about building reserve.
Cause it's on this paper and revenues right here, and I've seen it was 30% increase. 36% increase. On page 9,
Yeah, okay.
and I remember us talking about it,
Oh, yeah, okay.
and I want to make sure it got changed. Or they had to just find out to change it, but
But an increase on the revenue side doesn't impact your. That's good, right?
With a decrease on the revenue side.
Oh, cause you had something.
We had 250 in there, so that.
Yeah, but it's still an increase from last.
Oh, yeah,
2025.
yeah.
Yeah,
But it does hurt you if you don't make the increase.
yeah, it does. That's why you never wanna overestimate your revenue.
Well, we're at probably, I mean, with the October one, 220,000 right now. So it would be 5,000 more next year.
I'm comfortable. I wasn't, once we had the conversation, I wasn't no longer comfortable with the 250, but I thought 225 was.
Everybody comes to Smith Park's leaving with a t-shirt next year. We're gonna take it out.
People are gonna pay that $5 boat launch.
Sorry, while we're talking about Smith Park, did you guys ever figure out a way people could pay the boat launch fee with their phones? Like down at the boat launch?
Not yet.
Hmm.
Not as easy as it seems like it should be.
Hmm.
Our privilege is being a municipal entity instead of a private entity.
Mhm,
That's where the problem lies,
mhm.
as to what the state allows you to do.
We can't just have a site on our website where we have a QR code directly to it. A spot on our website and the QR code that directs people right there.
We've talked about that, but it's frankly something we haven't picked back up since
Hmm.
you mentioned it last. We've been too busy with
Doing
other
other
stuff.
stuff, yeah. I feel like that is the
We did
biggest,
originally
biggest
look into
leaky
that.
spot at Smith Park, right? It's like
Yeah.
if everybody paid for the boat launch, we'd probably make a bunch more money.
We did originally look into that, but you can't do it through Camp Spot. You just have to pay, then you have to pay the credit card fees. There's no way
It's
to make the
fee
customers
charge
pay.
is the problem,
Hmm.
the fee to use that type of an app.
So we just would have to increase the rate
Mhm.
to absorb the credit card fees.
And that's the same thing with like Venmo or their state laws, they're the same thing.
Mhm.
There's a
It's
fee.
the
to
same
use
thing,
it.
and boy, when you talk to somebody in the comptroller's office about some of these new technologies, they get real vague and wishy-washy.
Yeah.
I mean, we could just charge $7 if you pay with this QR code.
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
think people would care.
Yeah.
That's been what I find when I tell people like, I put the credit card fee on they're like, great, okay.
Hmm.
So,
It's probably
But in your
paying
notes-
the extra money,
Got it,
it's easier to
wrote
go
it
in the
down.
office. Right, it's probably easier to go in the office.
Yeah,
and track
especially
somebody
that-
down to pay them
Yep.
$5.
the boat trailer and all that stuff to turn around, yeah.
Well, I do a lot of chasing too.
It just, yeah, I mean, it just seems like a real easy, if we could figure it out, I think it would like pay for itself in this.
Well, Diane used to chase people, and that year we got
More.
Oh yeah, definitely more. I think she didn't separate out the boat launch fees from any other extra fees that other than camping. Like firewood and stuff, but she had $9,000 and we're at like 5,000 or something for that. So there is an extra amount. It doesn't break the bank now at $5 a launch.
Right. No, but $4,000
That'd be
more for
nice,
like
yeah.
putting up a sign with a QR code would be a pretty
Yeah.
easy return, yeah, we could get it. Be a pain to do, but once.
Maybe
it's
next
up,
year
I
you'd be
think
on the
it's-
park committee, you can make that
It could be.
happen.
What's next, Justin? I'm sorry I waylaid us.
Nope, that's fine.
Story of my life.
Questions are great, and I appreciate everybody's questions, because everybody comes at it from a slightly different perspective. I don't have a lot more.
Justin, can you just talk about these pages? The one on with color is the last 4 years of budget.
So
Which one?
the two single pages that I added in,
Yeah, can you just talk about those?
this is basically how the budget summary is generated. It takes the appropriation, anticipated revenues, and depending on, and I'll pick on I don't know which one I want to use, but the revenues for A, for example, are fees coming into the park. And all the fees the chain collects. The revenue for water is what people are paying in for water, what people are paying to be hooked up. So those are revenues that are separate from the tax levy. appropriated fund balance, I think is straightforward. And then, the tax levy is what, the number that we put in here to taxes. And then the total revenues, which is the tax line, how much money we're bringing in versus how much we're expending. These numbers, thanks to, you can see right here, we're allowed 3,256,000. This budget, without the changes we've discussed, was at 3,274,252, so we're over 17,904. These numbers migrate over into the budget summary, and then you can see we have a 5%.
That's the
increase.
next page or something.
That's the next
Mhm.
page. Right now, as the budget stands before the changes that we've proposed, we have a 5.1% increase in appropriation, a 0.1% increase in revenues, a 36% increase in fund balance. And the tax levy is actually up about 5.7%. However, that being said, the tax rates for the most part have dropped because this county provides me with new assessment data, and it was, even though we haven't been fully reassessed, it was fairly significant in most areas of the town. So,
Can you expand on
um, there's,
Values are,
the values are up.
new construction, basically it's new construction is raises when in a year off from a reval, your new construction will raise your assessed values. If your assessed values go up,
for everyone?
no,
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 but
for
there's
those
more.
that have built.
Okay.
You have real dumb, simple way. You have an empty piece of property and you're paying taxes on about $100,000, let's say, because that's what it says that. You go and build $1.5 million house, suddenly you're paying taxes on that. So you're paying in, which causes everybody else's to.
It causes the tax rate per thousand to drop
Because the
because you
total,
have the better,
the
you have a
total
better value.
dollars in the town of Hector is raised because of the new buildings.
That make,
It does, yep.
so even though
Right.
we have, as we've discussed a few times
The
recently.
taxable dollars goes up.
As we've discussed a couple times in the recent meetings, the majority of that construction taking place in Scottsdale County is coming to our town.
Yeah,
So
70% of all the
even-
construction in the county.
Even though we have increased it, you can see, with the exception of some of the fire districts, most of the tax rates are actually dropping a little bit.
Let me ask this question. I see the appropriated fund balance is up.
Yep.
Appropriated fund balance, just to review, is all the money at the end of last year's budget from all the categories is swept into one pot and put it in the fund of that pot that it's in, right? I mean, so like all the money left in every line in A that is not.
That it's
Earmark.
basically over budgeted, non-expended money. And there's fund balance, reserve fund balance. Reserve fund balance is like the building money. So that's sitting in a pot, but it's, since it's reserved, we can't touch it for anything but the building. But let's say Jason collects, he budgets that he's gonna collect $10,000 in funds, and he collects $15,000 in building. Then there's that extra 5,000 that goes and sits in the fund balance.
So
So
Jane says she's gonna spend $5,000 on stamps, and we spend 4,000, that leftover 1,000 goes and sits in fund balance. So
this 36% means that our budget, I mean, that just, is that higher than most years? Is it? I
But
mean,
that, what? I think where you're showing, where you're talking about fund balance comes to
She's talking about the
To the
percent change.
budget,
sheet.
Yeah.
using the fund
no,
balance.
I'm talking about this single page sheet, the third item down,
we're
appropriated fund
using
balance.
Oh, okay.
310 this year, so we're using basically $100,000 more than we get.
Right, so that sheet is telling you you're using more of the fund balance that you have, which is giving back to the taxpayers by not raising their taxes for that additional amount more.
The problem with that, there's pros and cons. One, you're not charging taxpayers additional money when there's money that they already paid into the fund, into the town, wherever to get back. The other side of that is,
What's it called? Deficit budgeting?
yes, deficit budgeting.
Yes, because next year you need that amount
Right, that's, I'm curious, like,
Next
that
year
feels like
you
a
need-
high
yeah,
number,
yes.
so I'm just curious.
Yes,
What,
but
how we got to this.
Is there some sort of sweet spot for the appropriate for this kind of a fund balance?
They're squishy when you ask about it, right?
There?
Yes,
They are.
Uh,
The old rule used to be you can't spend more than a third of your fund balance.
You
so that-
shouldn't,
You
right?
should not,
Right.
yes, you should not spend more of a third of your fund balance to balance. a
but your
budget.
fund balance can grow to where it's a dollar amount that the state
Will come
considers
down to
it
school.
is a little too high and you need to spend some of your fund balance.
Mhm.
So we've done that in the last several years when it's come to highway. We've either paved another mile of road or we've done extra stone and oil like we did this year. So we've done some things to lower in some
Keep
funds.
from getting a slap on the hand.
Yeah.
Back when towards the end of Ben's retirement, he had a lot of fund balance built up and he got scolded from the state.
And then we paved a lot of roads.
then, yeah, that combined with that first, or second year Alvin was here, paving was, the oil prices dropped a bunch one year, we paved a bunch of extra
Okay.
miles.
To give you a 38-year perspective on paved roads. In 1988, when I became town clerk, we had between 21 and 25 miles of hard surface roads, other than gravel. We now have somewhere around 80 paved hard surface roads, miles. So over the years, we're getting to more, but if we have 149 point something miles of road, you now have almost 80 miles of that paved, where when I started in 1988, you only had 21 to 25 miles of it paved.
That's hard to believe.
So,
So,
and paving's expensive.
No,
Liz,
no.
It is.
I don't,
No.
I don't love using the fund balance this way,
Mhm.
but I also, I mean,
I'm just curious, because then you get in a situation in which you either need to raise taxes next year, or you need to, it's like, I'm just asking the question.
yeah,
'cause
no,
it's like-
it's a great question, and it's very worthy of conversation, and we could probably all talk about this for a long time, because I agree. One of the goals each year, Kathy and I and Janine and I spent a lot of time trying to whittle down the budget so that we aren't generating as much fund balance, but if we're not generating as much fund balance, we're not taxing, we shouldn't be growing our taxes as much. Like, okay, if we've been charging $500 every year, but we've only spent 200, let's actually charge the 200, and then we won't need to hopefully grow the budget as much.
Mhm,
Does that make
mhm.
sense?
No, you're working hard at that.
Trying
Yeah.
to find that balance is hard, and we're increasing DB, for example, by like 28% and still using $100,000 in fund balance. The problem with the highway is, we're trying to realign how the highway is budgeted, moving more to DB, and there's no way to do that without
Mhm.
Raising.
taxes. And maybe next year we can raise the taxes 10% and use $50,000 in fund balance, something like that. A
Mhm.
scenario like that is a goal that we should be working toward.
Yeah, because in the last 3 years, it's crept up $100,000 each year, so I'm like, okay.
This- This year we've been cursed with a lot of needed equipment repairs.
yeah.
And replacements. And one of the things Scott and I were talking about, we already have a plan to get a new 10-wheeler ordered. But we also already need to get a second one in the works. And our plan right now takes 2 years to pay for this next 10-wheeler. So if we want another one, we're 4 years out. Or we take it out of chips and paving
Mhm.
slows way down, or hard surface. Next year we're not planning to really do any new paving. We're focusing on maintenance of what we already have, because some of that's been beginning to slip. So
Except if you can't get done what you need to get done this year, there's a
there's going to be some
little bit you're gonna have to do. next
Yeah,
year.
oh yeah,
And
If
then
we
it
can't
depends
get
a
it
lot on winter,
Yep,
Mhm.
yeah.
how bad it eats some parts of it.
The roads were particularly bad this year. We've had a tough string the last 2 or 3 years as far as highway equipment.
Right. And I don't expect that to stop. I mean, we just own a lot of equipment.
Yeah, but the positive thing is a lot of the big ticket items we've replaced in the last 2 or 3 years. And yes, we need to figure out a way to get 10-wheelers on a more sustainable rotation. But
So
We just need more
Yes.
sustainable.
tell me when I'm looking at these. Where this says
More sustainable
tax levy
type.
allowed,
yeah,
that's the difference. This
Yeah.
number is lower than that number. So
that's where we're over because that's our proposed budget that we have in front of us.
and that's what was,
Do you wanna
we're
see
allowed.
these, Jason?
Okay. All right, gotcha. No,
So
wait a minute.
You can sit there and stare at them for half an
Yes,
hour.
all right, never
and figure it out.
I'm with, I'm with you.
I looked at that 2 or 3
I
times
keep
too.
looking at the number backwards. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm all right. Not all right, but I mean.
Hey, one of the arguments,
You drinking White Russians?
Mhm.
one argument that we should be considering. And I was thinking about before we pressed the tax cap is if we have a budget that is significantly below the tax cap, we should probably, like last year, we were significantly below the tax cap, should have reduced the use of fund balance more dramatically and pushed us up toward the tax cap, and that then this year we wouldn't have probably used nearly as much tax cap. Does that make,
Fund
or fund balance, excuse me,
Yeah.
does that make sense? So we should be
Yeah.
taking full advantage of that, what the state considers responsible increase of the 1.9%.
Mhm.
And,
But our taxpayers were happy we didn't charge them that money last year.
yeah, exactly.
But there's certain things we need. Eventually, we're gonna, do you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I know.
Like,
Yes,
so,
you either have to, it comes down to you cut services or you raise money in taxes.
right. And if they give us a cap, it seems to me like, I don't know, we should go right up to the cap. Myself,
I just
I
think
mean,
with inflation, the cap just is totally unfair.
Unrealistic.
It's unrealistic to
is it 2%?
miss it.
It's like, it comes out to be about like 1.87 or something
Right.
stupid like that. That's
Right.
not accurate.
It was whatever inflation was the year that they probably ruled on it or something.
You know, when
I thought it was based on a 3-year average or something. wasn't
they
it?
have some weird formula
Is that the
because in 22, it was like 2.1% and the national average was like 11.
Huh.
How do you,
Yeah, I don't know how they calculate. It doesn't seem like it's a fair calculation of, but the way that regulation or law was written was it's 2% is the maximum that you can raise. But when inflation is so much higher than that, where is that fair to the municipalities that have to pay the same increased stuff for electric, heat?
But you
Propane, you know,
can, though,
for
for the tax
fuel.
cap.
yeah,
I mean,
Yeah.
it's just,
You pass.
they
law,
sort of
you go-
flag you
Yeah.
that you're.
they
something
flag
wrong
you
with the tax cap.
and it can, you know, certain constituents will be super bad out of shape and others. I mean, if you go over, I feel like you keep it under 3%, that's more realistic. Keep it under where
Mhm.
your real inflation is, and that's more
I mean,
realistic.
you're still, the tax rate per thousand still. Um,
Right, the tax rate per
Do
thousand.
we have that one?
Yeah,
The tax
that's-
rate.
Yeah, that's the one that says budget summary on the top. So your tax rate per thousand.
Where does it say it?
Well, that's the percent of your budget
Oh,
changes. You don't,
It's a
Yeah, the
percent
tax
change,
rates are
they'll
on
give you
different
tax rate per
rate.
thousand.
yeah, go to townwide tax, part-town, there's the tax rates. There, you know, when you're 3.2% down, 3.3% down, you're up
This-
when you get to fire.
Hmm.
So
it'd be 290.
most of your tax
Goes
rates are
down.
down. I don't think people are gonna see a huge increase
That's
in their actual tax bill
the total assessment.
by looking at this.
No, I don't think
Right,
so.
sure, yeah.
Fire's gonna be an increase. fire or ambulance is gonna be an increase for everybody in any of the fire districts, basically, but nobody
Well,
ever
it's like,
complains about those
gonna
two
come-
fees. on
You
the
can play until your house
tax
burns
Yeah.
down. And, you know, like,
And it's,
You
you know,
never
not,
pay
that
it
doesn't mean
cheaper.
that they
you
should
just
have
trust that they're.
free range to
doing
increase,
you
but
know,
they also
the
have a
best,
ton of
They're not,
state mandates on them.
embezzling money
that
to.
We, the
tax
town
people
even
for
don't
money or
have
something,
those
you know.
Have an index.
stringent mandates.
It only went up like that.
And
They
even-
changed Structure and then you weren't paying our fair share
Mhm.
before.
Even the village of Burdette, which we were fairly generous with allowing them, when you look at the final numbers, the way it averaged out with the building and the tax rate, it ended up being, I think, a 5% increase instead of.
Yeah, where's Village of Burdette? Yeah,
4.9.
4.9,
Yeah.
yeah.
So. That work, I don't know, it's, there's not a right answer to the things that you're asking, Liz, it's a great conversation. I went through a period when I first got involved in this, is that, you know, spending fund balance was the worst thing in the world. Then when you're sitting here doing the budget, reality slaps you in the face pretty hard. And
No, I mean, it makes sense to spend fund balance because you've
Collected
collected the money. But I just worry about future budgets when you.
don't have fund balance.
Yeah, you have to keep that in mind, because you have to realize.
When you've counted on that money, and then if you run out of that money,
Right.
then there could be a big jump.
Right, right.
Are we talking about Smith Park?
Well, we have to
All
decide,
right,
we have to finalize if we're
You have
gonna,
to finalize this budget somehow tonight, because I have to advertise it by noon tomorrow.
I make a motion to move the.
wait. One, are we all in agreement about the building reserve?
I guess we'll find out when I make a motion.
Okay, well, because we can, fair enough.
Well, no, you need to
You don't need a
decide what
motion to
you,
do that.
you need to decide what you're doing on the building reserve line before you can make this budget preliminary.
I thought we had already changed that.
I just want to make sure that everybody was on board and everybody understands that.
What's the number going to be on the line? That's,
25.
I was gonna pitch 20 and letting it increase by that
I'd
5,000,
be in favor of that.
just so that there is a slight tweak in there in the upward, a slight tick in the upward movement.
What page is that line on again?
I'm looking.
8, is that right, or?
yeah, what line is it on?
No,
Yes,
What page?
no,
8,
yeah, 7, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8.
it's on 8.
Building reserve funds,
So, well,
No, that's,
no.
I mean, it's still gonna be 100,000, but it's gonna come out of.
Well, it's gonna read the 75 or 80 and then we'll make it whole with using fund balance, moving it into. the
Okay, so this should say 80.
Okay,
where, what? Okay, so the 100 is gonna say 80.
Yeah.
What you're saying, okay.
so we have the two changes.
Which is gonna put fund balance, where is it? That's fine.
The dust oil line is on.
we
29 to
can
31.
change that.
That
The
was,
dust oil,
that was 11.
Wait, sorry, then the,
So on page 11, that's 88,799 appropriated fund balance is gonna be 108, correct?
no,
No,
Goes down.
68. Oh,
no.
how does it get, what way does that number change?
5,000 off of the dust oil, so it lowers the fund balance by 5,000. I haven't found it.
But wait a minute,
That's not gonna work.
dust
out.
oil is not in general fund, we're looking at general fund.
Oh, no.
You have to look at solely general fund on that number.
That's not gonna fix our problem the way I had hoped it would. It just drops that by, doesn't change our tax.
is it appropriated reserves, A0511, is that the line?
What we need to do a double move. We need to go to. need to go to real property tax, page 9. Make that 7.
How can you,
You said page 7.
that's,
not 9?
that's, but that's not a number you can change. That's a number that's calculated based on what's on your budget.
We can change that.
Okay.
It'll change the fund balance. If we change the tax
Okay,
collected to 735,000. And then the budget program will recalculate everything. And it will make appropriate fund balance 108,799.
Okay, wait, what, oh, one.
Line 11, at the bottom where it says appropriated fund balance.
Mm-hmm.
If we change that text to 735,
but so that means that $100,000 number that was on page
11,
yes, on page
11, that'll say 108, just like
Yes.
it's written down.
yes, but
And then there's the other one is in.
all right, so okay, we want that at 80 because there was 75,000,
Yes.
which there should be 75,000 in this column.
Yes. I have to ask Kathy or
Is it
Janine why
there?
it didn't transfer into the expended.
Yes,
Now in DB,
okay.
we are going to make line on page 22, DB 5110.41. Gonna make this $110,000. From 115, we're gonna drop it $5,000. Wow.
Right.
And that's gonna be flat. And that will reduce the fund balance usage on page 25 to $93,912.05.
On page what, 25?
25.
We'll make it 93.
Yep.
912. Okay,
Those are the changes we.
What's the fund balance number again?
93. 5 plus 5,000. You took the 5,000 away from us.
You know, 93,912.
Thank you. Okay,
Carry all that other change number.
I know the box is not changed, like.
All right, Liz.
Justin,
Yes.
I would like to make a motion to move the tentative budget to the proposed budget.
preliminary.
Preliminary.
You're close.
I'll second that.
We have a first and a second. Any further discussions or questions about the budget? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Anybody wish to abstain? All right, we have a preliminary budget. Congratulations, everybody.
Thank you.
Now,
Thanks for all your work.
Now I can go do a refund on this.
yes, now we have a couple of other things. 3 other things. Jason's here
Was wondering why.
because we have the cleaned up copy of the shared service agreement. It has everything covered that we discussed. It has,
Listen, you come around and go first. You made him sit here that whole time.
well,
I do enjoy learning.
we have 3 things and I didn't want to.
I'm fine.
Gotta get the budget out of the way.
Yeah, I wanted to get the budget out of the way.
He's got kids.
Nothing else had to be done tonight.
Yeah, but budget wise, you still need to do that resolution to.
I thought we had to do a public hearing for that and have
No,
that.
you have to do a resolution to advertise for public
Oh,
hearing
okay.
for tax
I
cap.
make
Sorry, I thought we were.
thing for stuff.
I second.
Make a resolution
I second
to
his motion
To
to
advertise
advertise, law over.
public hearing for local law number 2 of 2025 to override the tax cap.
Yes.
On November,
6th. Is it 6th?
Yes,
Yeah,
11/6. Okay. Cause I have to do 2 legal notices. I have to do that one and I have to do the
We have a
budget.
resolution.
A second.
A first and a second, any further questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Uh,
Okay.
All right,
Now,
sorry about that.
now you can go to Jason.
All right, so. We discussed the terms and conditions and we have a cleaned up copy that. Jason, if you have any further questions or comments on, you want to share, once again, that this has been cleaned up and meets what we were thinking that would.
This is the
Elmira?
But Elmira Heights, the village of Elmira.
did it get emailed to us?
No.
No, it didn't. This basically had all
I
the
just like
scribbles.
to read
I know.
things
It has all
before.
this, there's nothing changed since all the scribble was on there, it's now typed instead of scribble.
Mhm.
well, he's got a copy down there.
I would love to, thank you.
can we get an overview of it? Well,
Yeah, Jason, yeah.
So, yeah, it's basically, I'm much more comfortable with it the way it is now. It'll be a maximum of 8 hours of support per week. But they've since hired a new full-time code enforcement officer, but there's certain things he can't do until he completes his training. So it'll be more of a support role. I'll be able to do more of that remotely because I did meet with their mayor and the new code officer today. And he's already diving into, he's able to operate the software, pull things together, and then it'll be more of a training and oversight. Plus, there's gonna be some plan review things that, but it'll be much more manageable thing than the original agreement that they were looking for. It'll be a 3-month agreement. And then at the end of 3 months, if it's manageable, they may want to extend it a month or two until he completes his last couple trainings, but we would, this would go roughly till the middle of January and, it was, so, questions from me on it or thoughts?
Fee is not in here?
The fee will be calculated off my salary. There'll be a match of that. So I have to work with Justin Engineering to get that.
And this contract doesn't say that, though, it just has a blank.
Okay.
So we should either enter that in this document, or we should put a number in. Because right now it just has a blank.
It'll be, yeah, based on, we can write in based on Jason's hourly rate.
That matches the code enforcer's hourly rate.
Yep.
So most of this, you won't have to be on site, you can. Right, probably like 4 hours a week, I'll have to be on site, like signing documents and looking over some things.
And there's a commute down there, is that part of those 8 hours or that's separate?
That would be part of it. Yeah, that was one of the concerns the attorney for the town had, and he addressed that in his revisions.
You'll drive your, I see in here, it says you'll drive a village vehicle while you're there. And it doesn't matter to me, I'm just asking the question, you drive your personal vehicle up there and then you'll get in the village vehicle, like I just see that they specify, so I'm just kind of curious.
Right, so, I would either be using the town vehicle or my personal vehicle, to get there, and then they have the vehicle, but I think since they've hired someone, there will be very minimal driving when on site, they would, because he will be able to do most of the inspections and whatnot under my licensure. One is because once he has his first class completed, he'll be able to do all the activities of a fire safety inspector, and they're able to do everything except for plan review and sign building permits.
So we're talking like 102 hours of your time to be spent down there, like did 90
For 2
days. 90 days divided by 7 days, by times 8 hours is 102. Take my shoes off, so I found them.
I took mine
A
off,
lot
so
of
it's not.
Sorry.
You can't
All right, so what are you doing here, guys?
Liz is reading.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You guys can, I'll just abstain if you guys wanna pass it, but I just am not comfortable voting on something I haven't read, you know, just cause I'm putting my name on it, you know, so.
Well, we can give you a minute to read.
We're all trusting you.
I'll do my best. I see that it still doesn't name a designated person, like it mentions having one, is that important to us? Like it says, the village and town shall each designate a representative to serve as the primary point of contact. Do we care if it's in the agreement, or is it enough that it's mentioned there?
I'm personally not concerned about that, but
And we could add it to the resolution, and it would be the town supervisor would communicate with the mayor if there's the mayor of Elmira Heights, if there's any concerns.
I think it should be in there.
I mean, it's just that it mentions it, it seems like maybe it needs to be in.
Right, but if you put it in your resolution, then they're told who to contact,
Mhm.
that covers it.
Which is really kind of obvious in our situation.
yeah.
I know it's hot in here tonight because Anthony's not wearing long sleeves. I know it's not just me today.
Well,
It didn't work.
it is a little warm in here, but it was cold. And we closed off the power vent today. To allow the heat to remain down here instead of going up there.
My other residents must find them. So does Jason. Here, for everyone out there in TV world, see?
Maybe it's cooler out there.
Keep focused on that.
And I apologize that there wasn't a copy that provided to you guys.
Yeah. I didn't do that, but went down a budget rabbit hole today that I didn't expect.
Well, if somebody had emailed it to me, I could have
I
made
know.
this copy.
But it's the same one that was sent out already, right?
Right, it's just.
It's
Allegedly, what if it's not?
I know, it's true. I'm just-
And it's our
Justin's the
attorney.
one signing it.
It
Yeah,
could be doing something shady.
and our attorney.
All right, I mean, that looks good, except like I said the other day, I think if we mention, I mean, it didn't list, so I hand wrote in here, the total town, pay the town a monthly fee matching the code enforcement officer's hourly wage, just because I
Yep.
don't think there should be a blank on a form we're gonna sign.
I'll make a motion to allow the supervisor to sign this intermunicipal shared service agreement with the caveat that the supervisor and the mayor of Elmira Heights will duke it out as needed.
I second the motion, I second the duking.
Thanks. We have a first and a second. Any further questions or comments?
Jason, you're comfortable with this?
Yes, yeah, the way it's written now, before I was not comfortable, but just.
Our lawyer was a little MIA and it was fully written by their lawyer initially.
And, but it between my concerns, Justin's concerns, and Rob's concerns were all addressed in the village of Elmira Heights. Agreed to those terms.
Yeah, that seems reasonable.
I think being a support more than expected to be running their codes department for 3 to 6 months is much more reasonable.
Yeah, cool.
Okay, if there are no further questions, all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Anybody wish to abstain? All right, next item is the environmental, phase 1 environmental review proposal from Hunt. The response is a little slower than I had hoped, but I spoke with the
Is this for the property?
For the property, it was brought to our attention, rightly so, that the expense was excessive.
The what was?
The
Water
the
testing.
water testing
Water
expenses
testing, water
were
sampling.
excessive.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
okay.
I spoke with, finally was able to speak one-on-one with the individual who's been dealing with some family health issues. And what he suggested, and this was his quote, is to delete, cross those off, and ask for an approval of the scope of services outlined in section 2A, which is just the phase 1 environmental assessment for a lump sum of $7,200. He did go on to explain to me, however, that the reason that the water sampling was so high is that they're a regional engineering firm. And quite often, as part of these surveys, they send people hundreds of miles away to do the water collection, their own staff. We do benefit from the fact that they have multiple staff members that live within the town of Hector, and they can scoop in and grab the water on their way to work, and it would not be. And he apologized and said it's a standard based form that they.
So they'll take the $2,200 off.
Yes. The other thing that he did
You
say
gotta read the contract, huh?
was that he further recommends that we wait until the initial stage of the phase 1 is done, because there may be it was a concrete factory. There may be some chemical in there that the standard water test wouldn't pick up. So they may go in there, they do the phase 1, they get all the documents that reported in New York State, and they might say, hey, you should test for XYZ chemical that is not a standard thing.
So they wanna wait till they've done the first part so that they know.
Yes,
something
and
specific.
at that point in time, if we have to get a specialty lab involved, they will let us know. But they said that they think it would be better for us to wait and not do any water testing until they're done with the first part. So if there's anything special we need to look for, they can include it in water testing. So with that being said, I would like to make a resolution that the board authorizes me to sign a contract specifically dealing with a phase 1 environmental review for a lump sum payment of $7,200 through Hunt Engineering.
I'll second that motion.
The first and second, are there any further questions, comments, or concerns? Thank you, Liz. That was a very reasonable thing that you brought up, and it was.
$2,200 question right there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Hearing no further questions, all in favor? Aye. Anybody,
Turned out in the end.
Right.
any nays or abstentions?
Mhm.
All right, we will move forward with that. Now we're going to turn it over for the last hot topic of the evening. I'd love an update of what's happening in the park after your meeting on Monday evening, just a brief description of the change in direction, and then the discussion on the.
So Rebecca and Mallory and I met with seasonals. There was 7 sites that were represented. There was maybe like 12 people, maybe 10 or 12 people.
That's a great
These were
turnout.
couples, yeah, it was, we were.
Short notice.
Yeah,
Short notice, yeah.
Especially on short notice. I mean, that's like a quarter of them.
yeah.
That was here or down at the park?
Here.
It was on Monday night, it's.
And kind of the big takeaway is that we did feel like they weren't given enough time to absorb the change and to make other plans. So
I could interject for those who might not know or remember, when we did away with the winter storage and we've made other changes, we've always given them a full season notice. And this time we basically ended the season, said, oh, by the way.
Not intentionally, but that's how it turned out.
Yeah.
It just kind of happened that way.
So I just wanted, I think that's
Yeah.
important.
Yeah, so anyway, we reworked things. We are still keeping the option of a half season. But we also have the full season. We are also allowing all the current seasonals to have first right of refusal as they've been used to for this year. We are asking for a policy change, and normally this would become the board would approve it in the rules and regulations, but we haven't had time to go over the rules and regulations, and she needs to send out the end of season letter, which would be a warning of this policy change. So the policy change that we're suggesting is a 3-year cap to the number of consecutive years that a seasonal can be at the park. And then what would happen if they would like to continue to be at the park, they would just go on to the wait list. If there's 6 people on the wait list and 10 sites open, some of those would go right back to the park, so they would have no wait, and some people would have a wait of a year or two. It just all depends on how long the wait list is. But it would just make sure that a rotation does happen. So that would be something we would need to make a resolution for and have discussion about.
Is it?
Well, let's make a resolution. I'll make a resolution that we change the policy to have a 3-year cap on seasonal camping.
Consecutive.
Consecutive 3-year consecutive camping.
After which time people would go on.
Be eligible to return after being on the wait list.
I'll second the motion.
Now we have a first and a second. We're open for discussion.
So you guys feel that this is a way to address the concern of this is I mean, it seems like you're operating from a place of this is a municipal park, and our goal is not like people lock in and live here forever, but like how can more people enjoy our beautiful municipal property? And this is a way that you feel comfortable giving more people a chance to use this park, the town space. And you guys feel happy about like this will be a good way to do it. Mhm. Yeah. Cool.
And it does say in the I think in the letter too, that at the end of this starts off with the end of the next season. Any camper that's been there 3 or more years will have to go to the wait list.
So it would start next year, meaning,
Yeah.
so in 27.
So
At the end of next year, if someone's been there for 3 or more years, they will get put on the wait list.
So it's retroactive.
Yes,
So they're really only at this point getting 1 year notice.
unless they've only
been.
been, yes, and so if they've been there for 1 year. If they've been there for 1 year, they'll have 2 more years. And then for 2 years, they'll have 1 more year. So yeah, it is retroactive.
The question is if they're full seasonal waits. If they're full season campers now, are they still allowed to come back to the park and rent for a week or a month?
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
I would make sure you,
Yeah.
and make sure you emphasize that so people know.
Well, we
So
did
you're not
talk about
forbidding them
that.
from the park, you just
Oh,
make it
yeah.
so they can't be, that's,
Yeah.
I mean,
That's actually written in the letter too. I mean, there is something to that, just because it seemed, I think we said something to the fact our biggest hope is to open the park to a wide range to be welcoming to a wide range of people. Basically, and it lists the day, weekly, monthly, half season and season, just because it seemed like in some of our conversations that some people seasonals kind of forgot that was an option
Mhm.
to come for a week or a month.
Mhm.
Like, no, you can, this park is open to everyone.
I'd love to read the letter if you mail it to me, just want another pair of eyes on it. I mean, I know you're an excellent proofreader, but I'd just be curious to make sure you guys are so in it, to make sure that somebody who's not so in it comes away with the same impression.
Yeah.
If you want
Yeah.
to read it before we do.
If you don't mind, send it to me. I'll just read it over real quick and just tell you if I feel like there's anything that
But we
you've
need to-
indicated in
okay.
words at a meeting that is not indicated in writing in the letter, that if a person reading it for the first time might not go away with.
Sure,
the-
that'd be helpful.
So, yeah, if you send it to me, I'd reach over and send it back.
I don't know what that was.
But you're still willing to vote on the resolution.
Oh, yeah, I just think I think people forget that they can camp there. Like somebody was saying, Smith Park is so important to my family. I'm like so bummed that we won't be able to have the seasonal site anymore, whatever. This was before this, and I was like, well, you could just camp there.
I know, it's because that was kind of the people have said that too, like, it's too hard to.
They
pull
said
the
it's
trailer in and
expensive.
out, and like, someone said at the thing, it was like, people pull their, transient campers pull their trailers in and out every weekend, you know, like,
Mhm.
it's too hard to move.
They did say it's like more expensive, which I'm like, yeah, but also
Yeah.
if people aren't
Well, it
spending the whole
depends.
summer there.
Yeah, it depends on whether they have to hire somebody to move it or whether they have a vehicle to move it themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the
That's-
unfortunate
that's-
part is a certain number of seasonals don't own a vehicle that can tow their.
But I bet we could recruit somebody who's willing to do it for hire and have them stick, you know, like have a bulletin board where people could stick that kind of thing up, you know, we could say. I know there's 6 names on the bulletin board of people who will tow campers, you know, like we could probably facilitate that in some way. Not by recommending,
no,
but
I-
just being like,
Or even say, you know, if you are in this, you're welcome to advertise it.
right, yeah, yeah, I mean, I think we could help.
The other question I had is, it's not gonna count if they move the site as being consecutive campers full season.
If they
Yeah.
move sites.
If they normally rent site 12 for all season and then why move to 23?
No, it's consecutive seasonal camping, no matter what site you're at.
That might wanna be spelled in that.
Because they don't all return to the same site. If a new
Right.
site opens up that's lakefront, they all vie for the lakefront site, so,
I want it to be not an argument, though, have it spelled out
yeah.
that even if you move the site and you were here last year for the season, it still counts as a
It's
season.
based on the camper, not the number.
Yeah.
Yes,
Mhm.
I think I agree that you spell it out, it takes away people trying to slip through the cracks.
You just made the end of season letter 3 pages. I already squeezed the font down.
I felt bad when I gave you my things this
Yeah.
morning, I was like, oh, it's gonna make it even longer.
I can just see the backlash, though, it's like, I moved my site, you can't, I'm not been here
It's
3
based on the
years.
person, not. the
Now,
site.
Yeah, it's basically.
one thing, that's, the waitlist lottery, does that still count? Because after they're done with their 3 years and they all go to the wait list, what order they go in?
Yeah, and that's in the letter.
Okay.
So because a chunk will move to the wait list at a time, especially in the beginning. The idea was to just do a lottery at, there's 20 people next year moving, which is probably realistic, moving to the wait list. Then,
And they've all kind
A
of said
lottery.
it all at once, you know, they've all said it at the same time.
right,
Yeah,
well, I mean,
we'll
so
go to the
we're not
wait
gonna,
list.
yeah, I
So
mean,
it's
just
not like if they're coming in dribs and drabs and we can add them in consecutive order. So to add them in a order that's somewhat.
yeah, we could do a
We would
lottery.
do a lottery of all those same people that, or the big chunk of people that all wanna be on the wait list. They would get drawn for what,
What position on the wait list?
yeah,
Yeah.
what turn on the wait list they're going to be on.
That makes sense. It seems fair.
So, okay, so that's the policy change, and originally we proposed every year. So this is rolling that back to 3 years.
Oh, okay, so we have a first and a second, if there's no further questions, all in favor of the policy change? Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, motion carries. We need to.
You may have to clarify that a little for me.
Okay,
As to how you really want that.
okay, resolution to be. With it,
Just because you guys move too fast.
sorry about that.
The other thing, before we, don't forget, we need to reappoint Jason Bean. Jason Bond.
Why don't you do it right now?
Yes. I would like to make a resolution.
And
To extend the appointment of Jason A. Bond as labor at Smith Park and Mecklenburg Pond Community Park effective 8/1 retroactively through 12/31/25.
we wanna go that, well,
He doesn't necessarily stay that long, he finishes when he finishes, but
Yeah.
it just gives an allowance to.
okay, if the weather's good, we can.
The weather's good,
Keep
it's so
clear
good.
leaves,
He
great,
gets to
so,
put snow on the ground and he
Doesn't
walks
matter.
away and he's done.
okay.
Well, second.
We have a first and a second. Any questions or
Yeah,
comments?
just have one.
Why is it 8/31?
Well,
There's
there's,
contract run out in July?
Okay, now, civil service, only allows you to do the pink sheet for 6 months at a time. We appointed him in February
with no end date.
with no end date. So he really is not disappointed at this point in time. He is still in the position. But to match civil service, you can do a new resolution to cover the August 1st through 12/31.
If anybody really was doing research through civil service, they can argue that he doesn't have a legitimate appointment because they're pink slip.
And it has something to do with a part-time seasonal position. You,
This is one of those
From
technicalities.
February to August is 6 months, and so we wanna.
yes, so we want to just cover
Resolution
the
will
other
start in
six.
August to go to.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense, but it doesn't.
Mhm.
Kind of the way I feel about it.
It just cleans up everything to make our resolutions match civil service.
We have a first and a second. If there's no further questions, all in favor? Aye. Anybody opposed? Thank you.
Okay, so the last thing is the rates, the seasonal rates. So as we already expressed when we were talking about transients rates, so we're attempting to get everything on a pattern that's very easy to work with going forward. So we're basing the seasonal rates off the transient rates, which I don't really know how they were based before, but I mean, I know the last couple of years, they were based off the individual assets of each campsite. So some campsites are huge and have a view, and some campsites are tiny and have a view. And so the thinking in 2023 was that it wasn't fair that they were paying equal amounts. But that ended up being difficult with the office stuff. And we realized it in spring of 2024, but we didn't really do anything about it until now. We're trying to dial it in. So that makes the percentage difference all over the place. But let me just kind of go through this quickly column by column. So you see on the left the site number, the daily rate, the weekly rate. Remember, the weekly rate is for 6 days.
Now, this is if these sites were seasonal.
Yeah, they're all based
If
on.
they were transient rate, it would be $50, right?
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
so and all the other sites are all starting at a daily rate, so the seasonal sites start at a daily.
Every single 100% of the sites have a daily rate, a monthly rate, weekly rate, so they're convertible. So the sites can be in either way, seasonal or transient. Okay, so remember the weekly rate is the daily rate times 6, so they get a day free. The monthly rate is the weekly rate times 4, so they get a week free. That's all very standard.
3.
That's times 3, sorry. That's all very standard in the camping world. And then you see the 3, we broke down the monthly rate by basic monthly, which is the middle months, June and September. The peak monthly, the shoulder seasons, May and October, which aren't as popular. The basic, which are the middle ones, and then the peak ones are July and August, which is when everyone wants to be there.
Yeah, because all the transient, some of the transient, they're not all offered as monthly rates, are they? But if they were,
they're not on camp spot. They have to call.
But if they were, this is what the rates would be.
This is what it would be. So someone wants to come in which has certainly been the case in the past. Someone wants to come in just for the month of June.
Yeah.
They can come in for the month, and we already have a rate established.
Right.
And then the half season rate was.
Before you go on,
Yeah.
can I just ask a clarifying question? Thank you. You've got this. You mentioned that before it was based on their size and their view, etc. Now is it just based on lakefront or not lakefront, and electric and not electric?
It's yes.
Or is it still like each site is customized based on?
No.
Okay.
It's
So now it's
lakefront.
basically.
Yeah, it's basically going back to what the old system was, but the old system wasn't translatable to transient camping also. So the old system, we're doing lakefront, and then which are electric, and then electric non-lakefront. and then non-electric.
Yeah, the transient lakefronts cost more than the ones that aren't lakefront, if you were to get a transient site.
Sorry, say it again. The
Transient
transient lakefront.
sites, if when they're lakefront, cost more at a daily rate than ones that aren't lakefront.
Yeah,
Therefore,
lakefront sites cost
they
more.
would be higher in a rate as well.
So you have lakefront,
Okay.
non-lakefront,
Mhm.
electric, and then you have non-electric, and non-electric has two. I don't actually have the non-electric. I have one non-electric on here, but I don't have the whole breakdown on here. I'll get that in-house, but honestly, for your guys' purpose, I would have just given you lakefront and electric, non-electric. Electric, non-lakefront. I would have broken it down into, there's 4 categories. But because of all the variances from the previous year, I really had to kind of give you all the things so you can see how the percentage is going up and down for all of the sites. In future years, next year, she's gonna be able to give you a chart with 4 options on it.
Which would be
Lakefront,
non-lakefront,
non-lakefront,
electric, non-electric.
no, lakefront is electric, so
All
lakefront
lakefront.
electric,
Mhm.
non-lakefront electric. And then non-electric premium and non-electric regular.
And what's the difference between non-electric premium?
The 2 in the front on Forest Ridge, right over the boat launch, are heavily used.
Those are the only 2, premium,
And then the
non-electric.
2 in the back, which are much bigger, are used the second most. And then the ones all in the middle, which are the small ones where you're right next to your neighbor, they're not used. as
So
much.
all of the Forest Ridge is non-electric, and the front 2 closest to the lake and the biggest 2 that are in the back are premium, and all the rest are the same price.
Yeah.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you.
So
You were
next year
saying-
you'll get 4. You'll be much easier.
Mhm. So you're saying half season rate, that's where I interrupted.
Okay, so the half season rate is the shoulder, the basic, and the peak monthly rate added together. And then they're just given 30% off. So it's the 3 months, the total of the 3 months with 30% reduction.
I feel I'm on board with all this
Mhm.
right now, but I feel we should have the half season spelled out, like the April through June, or April through July, and August through October, so that there's not,
Yeah, because somebody could say,
Want to block in the middle.
yeah.
Oh, on this sheet? you
Yeah,
mean?
well,
Okay.
Make sure it is
It
spelled
will
out.
be in the house,
Okay,
yeah. I mean, it
okay.
is on the end of season letter and all that
Okay,
stuff.
okay.
Because this
I can
sheet
just
is,
see that, and think, oh,
Right.
look, we can have half season.
yeah, this sheet is
Right.
actually for in-house
Right.
use.
Okay,
yeah,
So,
yeah.
I just wanted to double check.
Yep.
Right.
okay, so then we want to establish the full season rate. And we want to establish on all the rates that were established before to keep the same pattern. And this has been a lot of throwing in numbers, how does that look, and just seeing. So this is where we landed.
I'm sorry, Jess, before you go on, one
Yeah.
more question. You gave us all these numbers rather than just the 4 numbers, so that we can see.
The changes per site.
Because the changes, because if you look to the second to the right column, rightmost column, the full seasonal to 2025
Mhm.
rate, you will see that those rates are all over the place
That's what we charged this year,
this year
and that's
last year.
based on like
Yeah.
the big ones by the lake and the little ones not by the lake, and I mean, somebody like picked a price for each.
We
walked around as a
through
team
and
and
talked,
tried
we
to
had
think.
like a checklist of things, and
This
if
is
you
many
had-
square feet, and
if you had this, it was added this money, and if you didn't have it, it took away this money, and then you had, every one of these was basically a different rate, which is a logistical.
confusing.
Yeah, it was,
nightmare.
And
that's
then
the only
somebody
reason.
changes a site, they said, oh, I don't like 52, can I have 48? Then the price is different, even though they're moving like 20 feet, and that's difficult.
Mhm.
Okay.
And the prorating is difficult. It's difficult for her to remember if someone calls up and like, hey, what are your seasonal rates? And she's like, I mean, depends on what site you want.
So next year she'll be able to say, lakefront is this much.
Yeah.
Non-lakefront is this, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, just sorry, I'm just, there's
No,
so much
I'm glad.
information on here,
I
and
know.
I'm like
I
not
know.
familiar with it, so thank you for.
Yeah.
You have some great
No, I'm glad
questions
you're
there.
asking questions. Okay, so the full season rate, so if you go just to the right of the bold line. Full season rate, so we just took the half season rate and we doubled it. That's what is being proposed there. And then there is an early bird discount, and it's 15%. We played a lot with, if you go the full season rate doubled. We played a lot with that number. We did the full season rate doubled, and then you take off 5%, you take off 10%, you take off 15%. And what ends up happening, it just, anyway, I won't tell you the whole scenario, but just as it to be too much. But we wanted to give a really sharp incentive for early bird, because that is immensely helpful. If she knows this fall when, which we have the early bird date at as December 8th or 7th or something like that. Okay, so if she knows this year who's coming back, it's so much easier going forward, because how it has been in the past is sometimes you didn't know until March who's coming back. And then your people on your wait list have all found some other place to go, and it's been, so anyway, we're trying to push that back. And I did find when I did look around at campgrounds, a lot of them do early bird.
The cutoff is what, December 31st?
No, December 8th.
December
We hit
8th.
by December.
The other-
I assume
I
most
just-
people will actually, most of our seasons who've been in the park will snatch onto that right away.
They don't have to pay the full amount when they commit. They
Okay, this is another policy change that we're just remembering. So, but what we're asking, we can do the resolution afterwards, but what we're asking is to do a $500 non-refundable deposit with the early bird rate.
To walk in that.
What was the previous policy?
No deposit, nothing.
So people could say they're coming and then not be coming on May 31st, and then we'd have an empty spot.
Yeah,
Is
so
that-
we're trying to relieve the stress that happens in the spring when they're trying to get the campground open, maybe doing projects. Just a lot is happening, and to relieve the seasonal stress, have a lot more of the seasonal stuff wrapped up between December and March. By the end of March, be done with it as much as possible. I mean, Diane was like chasing people down in July for payments back in 2022.
Mhm.
Well, because the campers were there. And
They hadn't paid
they
yet.
hadn't paid, and they hadn't shown up, and yeah.
So, okay, so that's that. And then in addition to that, we were offering the 10% Hector discount, which we did last year. Hector resident, we do have 5 who are Hector residents.
So we're not able to give them preferential treatment, but we're allowed to give them a price discount. Okay.
Correct. So now, if you look at the percentage increase, this is where we just really kind of spun a lot of different numbers to try to figure this out. But the majority, over half of them have a nominal increase. So last year we did a 5% rate increase. So over half here, or about half here, have a 5 or less % increase. Some go down. If you look at the non-electric, that goes down 17%. And then the ones that go up a lot are the lakefront ones. And that is where we had a hard time reconciling that, because the lakefront ones were arguably maybe undervalued in our past value system. So if you go with the same value system as the transients, that's how much they go up. That percentage increase does not take into account a Hector resident discount. So if they're a Hector resident, they'll get a further decrease on that.
So they can get, if they commit early, they can get the early bird and the 10%.
Yes. Yes.
So
And it's a
25% off?
cumulative, it's not 25% off.
Does that include nightly? Like if a Hector resident camps for the night, they get 10%?
We're working on that. We can't do it through CampSpot because they'd have to show proof of residency, and we have no way to do that through CampSpot. But we were just talking to Jane about how we could do proof of residency. And then we can just have something on our website, and we don't really have, so, and just, then
People
they
can
can
book through the
call
town
in, and they
website.
can call and she can manually do it, but we have no way to do that.
Call for Hector resident discount or something.
They would have to, so I would have to call CampSpot and have them set up, they use promo codes. So each promo code is set with a different, like, I don't know how you wanna say that. So when I type in the reservation, do all the information and everything, and I get ready to push that forward, I enter the promo code, which would give them that 10% off. So that I could do it in CampSpot, but I would need to see proof of residency before actually pushing the button and pushing it forward.
So it's not just a phone call to you, it's actually.
Right.
If
I would have to see it.
They can make the reservation, you
And if
have
they're
a note,
happy
and you just show up to
residents,
check
they should
in, you
make it to
say,
the PO box.
Right.
here's my,
You could probably email there.
oh, yeah.
Well,
they
I
can
think
email
you're
it.
just saying it's not just by
Yeah.
phone.
Well, some IDs only have PO boxes on them, so.
So they'd have to show you some other thing that shows.
Right,
it's
it would have to
residence.
be some kind of bill or, yeah.
You can also go on Schuyler County's website to, you can get a link to the tax roll and you can look up by name and you can see the address their tax bill goes to. And if that's a local address, that's another way for you to prove that they're actually living there.
But yeah, we wanted
For a
that,
utility bill.
that is
Right.
something that we wanted to ask for was, I mean, we already do the 10%. We already started doing that last year, so it's not a policy change. We do 10% discount for the seasonal rate, but I don't know if we have to separate it out and do another, resolution for a 10% discount for Hector residents. It's just that we have to get it set up. Yeah, so.
For
I guess-
crazy.
I guess maybe,
We
for
have to-
transit, so maybe we wouldn't do it yet, we would wait till we get it set up and then we would do that resolution. Yeah, or we could just. do
I'm
it.
sorry, because I'm not super involved with the park. The transient folks book through CampSpot,
Yes.
but the seasonal folks deal directly with Mallory.
Yeah.
There's not a website, so they're like contacting you directly.
Correct. And I can put them into CampSpot, but I manually do it. It's not something that they can just go into CampSpot and book. I have to manually block that site off and punch in all the information. Use the promo code to give them the discount that they need and that kind of thing, and then.
And
If
then
we
they can
just
take
had
it.
4 prices, could we arrange it so that they would be booked through CampSpot site? I mean, if we just have 4, like, if it's more simple than this.
The seasonal, the problem with seasonal, there's a bunch of back office things that need to be done that doesn't make it practical.
Okay, yeah, just curious.
Because the other thing with that is if you did it through the website, anybody could jump in there and sign up to be a seasonal state. Those,
Right.
she had multiple steps to secure it, which isn't bad for like the 22.
No.
Yeah, it's not like she's spending weeks and months.
No. There's a lot of insurance and rules and regs and
Debt
everything that I need
permits and-
hand signatures
Mhm.
for that I.
Plus, it's not a bad thing because then she establishes a relationship with them.
Right.
Through CampSpot, a lot of the transients, you don't even really have, they just come and go and
You
they
don't
don't,
even see them.
Not
not
even.
at all, they're very.
Unless they call me or have a reason to call, I really don't.
Buy some firewood or something.
Yeah.
and then-
So they just see like the sign on says
So if I'm.
site 12, that's what I rented, they pull it on in.
If I'm not there, I leave maps posted, I write their name and site number on it, I draw it all out for them, where their site is. I've been circling the dump station, putting the code on there for that, because it's locked. So they need the code to get into the dump station. And then I have a folders attached to the outside of the office and I put the maps in. And then if I know I'm not gonna make it back, or if I'm leaving at the end of the day, I will call those incoming campers. Let them know that their map is on the outside of the office and just leave it up to them. Usually they're more than 100% grateful that I even contacted them to let them know. So I've gotten really good responses from that,
Nice.
but
The last thing with that too is that through CampSpot, the camper, the advantage is they can use their credit card, which would be very nice if our seasonals could use the credit card. However, they're paying the credit card fees, and a lot of times with the seasonal camp rates, they don't want to pay the fees because they are excessive.
So most of our seasonals are paying with a check or.
yeah.
A little cash.
What's your credit card fee through CampSpot? What is that percentage, do you know?
Yeah, we do know, but it's actually not, it's a really
It's a
good
very
fee.
reasonable
It's a
fee.
very reasonable for
Yeah.
what we pay at our place and stuff.
But it's, it's still on, $33,500
Mhm.
versus one night. You're paying, you go to camp for $150 for 3 nights. It's a big.
Yeah. So yeah, so that's basically it. I know we're, people, the 25% increase, I mean, the first one gets a Hector discount. But that's gonna cause some kerfuffle, but,
I mean, anything you do is gonna. cost.
well, the thing, I know anything, it's true, and the thing is that they are the lakefront sites, so, I mean, they're the premium sites, they're what everyone wants. So,
And they're still competitive with, say, food park.
Yeah.
And you have a campsite that you can't reach out the window of your camper and touch the neighbor.
Yeah,
So
well, as I was saying, it looks like you guys worked hard to get this
I'm sorry, say it again.
thought through and have it done.
yeah,
Wait,
I'd like to
using
say
the seasonal?
is, I think, our best moves as far as figuring out
These numbers.
all of these rates in advance.
I'm asking you
It
about
would-
the-
it
And
would be-
making sense out of it.
It's not-
Yeah.
That's clear
I know.
to the board.
Yes, got it. I'm just
it would be
asking-
nice in the
I'll break it
future
down.
to just have a nominal increase every year, a 3% increase or whatever, like every year, it's just. And it's just very stable, and that was one thing that we explained to the seasonals, that it's been pretty rocky for the last few years. But we're trying to get back on a pattern and. So yeah,
Make a motion to give you everything we want.
No, don't do that.
We have a first and a second to approve the 2026.
Some joker down here, I think we're back to there.
Oh, yeah, I mean, was there a motion?
Yes.
I make a real motion to accept the 2026 seasonal rate chart as presented.
Well, I'll second that.
We have a first and a second. Are there further questions or comments on this? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
okay, so then the other policy change that we haven't done in the past is the $500 non-refundable deposit. Last year we initiated a $300 refundable deposit. That's working out really well. People
It's
have
like
left
a
their sites
security
very
deposit.
clean.
That's great.
So, so that's working out really well. Mallory's the park closes on Sunday, so she will just get around to
Thank you, sir.
initiating that
Monday.
process.
Monday, I have plans to meet with Jason after we deal with the trees, and we're gonna start all the way from the south end and work our way over. And we're gonna assess the sites, and I will have that information probably by Tuesday or Wednesday. And then we can start,
Then at the next board. meeting,
Thursday.
we'll get approval.
Thursday, at the next board meeting, I will hopefully have all of those
Perfect,
refundables
perfect,
on the board report, so that we can just get that done.
beautiful.
I'll make a motion to accept the $500 non-refundable deposit. And that's as it relates to early bird discount.
15%.
The
early bird
15%
discount.
bird discount.
Is that
Wait,
correct?
wait, say that again, sorry.
Has to be on the seasonal campsites though.
It's yeah, this the $500 deposit on the seasonal sites that's non-refundable as it relates to the early bird 15% discount.
What's the early bird part that you?
Isn't that what we're talking about?
No, it's anyone, we would, oh. So
That's also what I thought.
I do have one end of season letter, but, and I can give it to you afterwards, or I. can read
I thought
it
that's
out.
what we were talking about with.
No, I know why you're thinking that, that's why I'm
Okay.
correcting it.
Okay.
So our early bird date is,
Great.
the early bird is December 4th, actually, is what we changed it to. But then you have to send in you have to send in a deposit if you didn't do the early bird by January 8th. So the $500 deposit is early bird or not early bird. Does that make
So
sense? Is that
yeah,
not
no, that
making
makes
sense?
Okay, so don't worry about the early bird.
Sorry, I've been
It's the-
swimming in
it's
all
the-
this
It's
stuff.
the
$500
$500 non-refundable for
non-refundable
season.
for seasonal.
Yeah, to save your,
All
to
season.
save your site or to come
Secure
back,
a
to secure your
seasonal
site,
site,
that's the word.
seasonal site.
The $500 non-refundable deposit is required. But the early bird discount you send on December 4th, otherwise
Okay.
it's by January.
Does the $500 get taken off the total of what? they
Yes.
have?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
and I did
so
clarify
then
that.
you're not dealing with having to refund something at the end of the year.
No,
But it secures their site, and if they don't come, they
Okay.
don't get it.
Yes.
should I read this out loud?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Camping season closes Sunday, December, or
December, yeah.
Yeah.
October.
October 26th. A reminder that on or before this Sunday, October 26th, all camping equipment and debris must be removed from your site. Upon determination of a completely clean site, a $300 deposit will be returned to you by mail to the address on file. With arrangement, checks can be also picked up at the park office or the Hector Town Hall. Checks can be expected by the week of November 17th. 2026 changes. We understand we listened, is the title. We understand the short notice for originally proposed changes in 2026 affecting seasonal camping. Therefore, we are pushing plans forward to 2027, or which I guess I should clear, the pushing plans forward to develop day use, For 2026, full and half seasons will be an option, and current seasonal campers will get the first right of refusal, with exception to sites 30 and 33, which we're offering a different location to.
And they know about it.
I just talked to them today.
Okay,
So they're all
yes.
right.
So we're offering to move them to the north side of the park where we used to have seasonals. Okay, introducing half seasons. In an attempt to accommodate more, we will experiment with offering half seasons in 2026, along with the full 6-month season. And then I have the half season dates and the full season dates. Road names and campsite numbers change. We have been working with Schuyler County Emergency Management to organize the park better. In 2026, we will be naming the roads and reassigning campsite numbers for better organization. We will also be adding better campsite markers. Okay, 2027 changes. Development of day use and park reorganization. As some of you are aware, Smith Park has been undergoing systemic changes originally initiated when the town of Hector was awarded a local waterfront revitalization project planning grant in 2019. Although the plan is a working plan, one of the big takeaways has been to prioritize a day use area for non-camping visitors and to convert lakefront sites to transient camping. Starting in 2027, we will be developing a day use area in the north half of the park, and in this, we'll be eliminating campsites 9, 12, 13, 14, and 15. These were the ones that we were going to eliminate this year. Additionally, we'll be gradually converting most of the South Park lakefront campsites to transient camping, starting with 35, 36 in 2025, 30, 33 in 2026, and likely 24, 28 in 2027. Consecutive seasonal camping capped at 3 years. As a municipal park and campground, we have an obligation to prioritize a fair and equal distribution of public resources. With this being said, we will be capping seasonal campers' first right of refusal to return to 3 years maximum. Starting in the 2027 camp season, seasonal campers who have already been at the park for 3 or more years will move to the wait list upon request. If the camper has been moved at the park for the camper, I should say this, the person. Okay, if the seasonal camper has been at the park for the 2 consecutive years prior to 2027, they will be able to return for 1 more year before being added to the wait list. When a group of campers are added to the wait list at the end of the season, a lottery will be drawn to determine the order in which they are added. 2026 rates and due dates. For the past few years, rates were determined based on the individual particulars of each site: size, view, ease of access, privacy, etc. This created a complicated amount of variance. The 2026 seasonal rates reestablish a pattern that aligns with the transient camping pattern, making it easier for staff. Due to the previous wide variances, the range in seasonal rates in 2026 is not the same for all sites. Some sites will significantly increase, whereas others slightly increase or decrease. To secure a site, a non-refundable deposit of $500 ultimately applied to the total reservation rate. That's in parentheses. To secure a site, a non-refundable deposit of $500 ultimately applied to the total reservation rate must be postmarked by January 8th, 2026. There is a 10% early, that changed that to 15% early bird discount if the reservation rate off the reservation rate if the deposit is postmarked by December 4th, 2025. And an additional parentheses cumulative 10% discount for Hector residents. There will continue to be a refundable $300 cleaning deposit. I should say on top of that, on top.
So you're gonna charge them $500 and $300?
Yeah, the $500 goes towards the reservation
So you're
rate.
still gonna do a refundable deposit?
We are still going to do, yes, to
Then they'll
encourage
be
them
charged
to.
until they get moved in.
Yeah, that's with their final payment. With or without the early bird rate, the full balance of the payment must be postmarked by February 12th, 2026. In closing, and then I have the rates, which I haven't filled in yet, because we haven't.
Hey,
done
I'm
that.
sorry, there's January 8th and February 12th? What's the difference between
January.
Deposit by January.
The
But basically,
Payment
they
in
tell us
full.
you're coming
Payment
back.
in full by February?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So a month, 6 weeks.
I mean, I guess we could push the February 12th a little bit later if we wanted to, because their $500 is non-refundable, so
Push it to March.
we could maybe push it to March
Let's do that.
1st. I'll pick a Thursday in March though, but we figured Thursday was good for the postmark because then they put it in the mail on Thursday and then she comes back to work on Monday and hopefully they'll be in the mail. So she's not waiting all week. Like, you know. Okay, so
First Thursday in March is the 5th or the 12th.
let's do March 5th. Okay. Then in closing, our greatest hope is for Smith Park to be available for a wide variety of users. We will do our best to keep this reorganization clear and orderly and appreciate any patience you are willing to extend. Expect to receive a seasonal agreement and rules and regulations through email or by snail mail with request by the week of November 17th. As always, feel free to reach out for clarifications and additional questions. And then we also have a timeline summary, which was Diane's brilliant idea that we've tried to keep up. That gives all those dates and what's due. I can send it out, I can fill it in and I'll send it out.
Would you please?
Yeah, I'll send you the filled in one. Okay,
So we have a first and second on the $500 non-refundable.
I guess my concern about that is, say someone breaks their leg and they can't come to camp. I mean, are we gonna make a medical exception of some kind for the deposit?
I mean, I think there would be exceptions like
I
that.
Right, I think that type of an exception, you just bring it back to the town board and say, look, if this is the catastrophic
Yeah, I mean, I just don't. want-
issue that. And let the town board make that decision of yes or no on the $500.
Mhm.
Because then it takes it out of the park manager making a decision that somebody might think is arbitrary. You gave it back to them, why wouldn't you give it back to me? Well,
Mhm.
I didn't, the town board made these decisions.
right.
Here's from Justin.
I guess my concern is that there's been times when we have not agreed because what it says is, the argument is done, we are trying to get control of the park. I don't know, I feel a little bit queasy about a situation in which somebody could have a heart attack and not be able to come to the park and then not get their $500.
We're all reasonable.
The seasonal campers, you're gonna know a lot more. I mean, the transient campers, you don't know. And
But we're not gonna
part
have
of
any of them, I mean.
what has happened at the park is there's been so many variances allowed individually that there was no point to having any rules at all, which is how the park was operating. Really, they weren't operating with rules because the rules were, oh, sure, like there was so much individual, sure,
And with
so we're trying to get away from that, but the seasonal campers, I think, is a little more there. You know what's going on with the seasonal campers, and you have a relationship with them.
Well, the manager, take it.
I mean, it would have to be something really super serious for a seasonal camper not to come.
No, I agree, I just, when you say non-refundable, I just feel like there's.
But we as a board can vote on it if somebody's partner dies or there's a broken leg or something catastrophic. I agree, $500 is not some of the refunds we've been giving, but at least not having any deposits crazy.
Yeah, it's been a
Right.
it
Yeah.
makes it difficult for.
Oh, I got a better deal. I really want to be in this campground,
Yeah,
but so I'm taking Smith Park. I'm coming back and then, oh, last second they make it in off the wait list and they walk away.
Right, no, I
So-
don't disagree, I just, when it's non-refundable and said like that, I noticed that we've tended to vote as a board. I have felt sometimes not being generous to the people who are asking for money back. That myself, I have several times felt like, I don't know, what is the harm, and other people have disagreed, but that's how I felt, and so when we put that rule down, and the thing I've heard people express in the meeting is, we have rules for a reason, and this is the rule. So I'm just saying, I would hate to be in a situation in which somebody had a heart attack, or their spouse dies, or the leg's broken, and what is said, which I've heard here in the meeting is, the rule is this, sorry, it's a non-refundable deposit, so I don't know, it makes me feel a little squeamish, because that's the way this
How
board
would
has
you,
tended to vote.
how would you propose getting some kind of guarantee that they are gonna, that they actually are gonna come back and.
A deposit, but maybe it doesn't say non-refund, or I don't, you know what I'm saying?
If it's fully refundable, so then what,
I-
then there's no guarantee.
No, I agree, but we didn't have a deposit at all before, right? So a $500 deposit is a big step up. I mean, other people could,
We could do
I'm
a
just
dollar
saying,
deposit.
I personally am
Well, we-
crazy about the non-refundable and the way we've been.
Yeah.
Let's call it a.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. Everybody else might be in agreement. Just for me, the way we've been treating the refunds. I don't know. I just feel like if we can be generous to people, I like to, but that is not how the vote's gone. So I just feel nervous.
So-
Could you? Could you put in an example of? An extenuating circumstance that would apply for that. Get it possibly. Asking the town board for.
Like maybe the language could
Or
be.
that to be some sort of language.
I would like to say we call a vote. And then we, as the board, in our rules and regulations section. Where it introduces the,
we as a
Deposit.
committee, I mean,
we as the committee, where it says that we can say,
Extenuating circumstances to be sent to the board.
It can be reviewed by the board,
Mhm.
something like that in the rules and regulations.
I feel more comfortable with
Because I think
that.
that's a compromise, because we don't wanna necessarily spell out, if we spell out every detail in this letter, it's gonna be 20 pages
Mhm.
long.
Right.
This way we can cover it in the rules and regulations, and if somebody does have an issue and they're looking at that and says, oh, it's, rule number 5, there's a non-refundable deposit. Extenuating circumstances can be reviewed by the board,
Mhm,
then it gives an outlet.
mhm.
Mhm.
I'd like to
I like
modify
it.
my thinking to do that.
I like that.
All right, so all in favor of changing the policy to include the $500 non-refundable deposit for seasonal campers? Aye.
Sorry to come up, was it great? Hurry.
Yes, we're voting. So, all in favor? Aye. Anybody opposed?
I'll abstain.
Okay, we have an abstention. Thank you. Thank you.
You guys
After-
do great work. I mean,
Okay.
a lot of
After-
thoughts gone into this.
February. March
March 5th.
fifth, is the seasonals refundable
What season?
if they pay? If they
Yeah,
pay
if they
like
paid for
pretty
the
early,
call,
and then March 5th comes around. And they say, I don't wanna pay all the rest of it. Or they pay full payment in January,
Okay.
is the January full payment due?
no, full payments
Yeah, no,
due,
January.
Well,
Oh, no,
they-
March
March
5th.
March 5th is
Full
when
payments
full
due March
payments.
5th.
If they wanted to pay it in January, nothing's stopping them from paying it.
So they pay it full, is it the seasonal, with the $500 refundable? Has anybody ever asked for their money back?
It would be all, they
But
get their
that would
money
give
back
us
minus
time
the
to plan to
$500.
replace
Right.
somebody. I mean,
Right.
that at least would give us time if they, but they wouldn't get the $500.
$500 back, they get the balance back.
Yeah.
You're committing, you're saying, I'm coming, I paid my $500, I paid my check, I
And-
changed my mind, you're gonna
and-
get everything but that $500 back.
I don't remember seeing refunds at the park for full seasonal
There,
camps.
we've
I mean,
done.
Diane, we had one in that year for a
Yeah.
man who had a heart attack.
Yep,
And we let them,
They're just,
Yeah.
people don't tend to walk away from the season.
But I think
No,
if they
right
pay.
there.
We just did one, I think, for those ladies that.
No, we didn't do one.
We
Yeah.
chose not to
After-
do one, even though we filled the spot, which is when I was like, this seems kind of.
Well, you
I mean, what?
you would need to meet them.
It's just a question.
Just say different.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I second the motion.
Wait a minute.
Jane has a couple things. I need to review the resolution of you. Anything else?
The map restoration that I talked to you a little bit about, and then I sent you all an email that says this is about what it's going to cost. And I think I only heard back from one of you. So,
Who's the good?
Sorry, I didn't
so
know.
I said, my last name says, let me know your thoughts.
Oh,
I think we should.
And I got only one person's thoughts.
Sorry.
So what, I don't know where we would,
What's that?
I mean, I don't know if fund balance would be an option or
I
do
think
something, but I need to respond to co-file.
We could take it out of the Jane I
Still.
retirement party fund.
I think, here's my.
Gonna have
opinion.
less pizza at the party now.
We have not used the entire amount on your restoration line
Since COVID
since
began.
COVID. That's gonna cover, that's sitting in fund balance, but it is money that the town residents pay taxes toward this project. I think we can justify pulling that money out of fund balance because.
That's what I said. I think we should do it.
Yeah, so,
Motion, he seconds.
so all in favor of proceeding with the map restoration?
Aye.
I,
Any further questions or comments?
It's too late for them. We already.
Hearing none, all in favor of moving forward with map restoration? Aye.
I-
Anybody opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
There's one more part thing, but I don't know.
Thank you.
Yes. My
Sorry,
apologies.
Jane.
I really appreciate that. I do.
Let's,
The last,
one last thing and then we're gonna adjourn.
yeah, the one last park thing is that we talked to the DOH about this is regarding the RFP, which is going to be initiating before our next audit meeting. The DOH originally said that it's very likely that we can put in new campsites. Not a big deal. And then they called back and they said that they would actually want us to do a variance process, which is a formal process. They said, because we are limiting the size of the camper units to 26 feet is most of our campsites. That we would probably be awarded the variance, but there's a whole process to go through for that. And we're not going to go through it.
Including professional engineers.
Engineer drawings and whatnot. So we're just not gonna do that, but then we have the opportunity to do some other sites if we want to, or just reduce the RFP and we'll talk about that, but
So that's just information.
Yeah.
that's just information, nothing to vote on.
Yes.
The meeting is still on for Tuesday.
Tuesday at 10, yes.
Sorry, what meeting is that?
Tuesday at 10 is the contractor
Mhm.
oh, okay.
for the campsite.
The walkthrough.
Okay. Any other resolutions?
I make a motion to adjourn.
A second.
I've heard